Kao što svi znamo, Evropska unija je zvanično objavila da su i Priština i Beograd prihvatili francusko-nemački plan o normalizaciji međusobnih odnosa. Pre toga saopšteno je i da su sa ovim planom saglasne i druge zemlje Unije, čak i one koje nisu formalno priznale nezavisnost Kosova, pa je tako taj predlog postao i evropski. Međutim, ništa od normalizacije nekako da vidimo na terenu. Kako je i zašto došlo do te francusko-nemačke inicijative? Kada će plan zameniti rezultati? I da li taj plan ostaje na snazi nakon najnovije eskalacije krize na severu Kosova? Iz prve ruke saznajte u Slobodno Srpski. Moj današnji gost je ambasador Francuske na Kosovu, Olivije Geroom. Vaša ekscelencijo, dobrodošli u Slobodno Srpski.
Thank you.
Prvo da kažemo gledalcima da emisiju snimamo u četvrtak 1. juna popodne. Ne znamo šta će se sve dešavati, odnosno biti do nedelje na severu Kosova kada se Slobodno Srpski emituje, ali možemo da razmotrimo šta se desilo i kako je sve počelo. Pa kako je po vama sve ovo počelo i ko je po vama odgovoran za najnoviju eskalaciju krize na severu Kosova?
Well, first, thank you very much for inviting me. Really appreciate it. We appreciate the work that you're doing in order to spread an objective information. And it is very important, especially in the period that we are experiencing right now. So thank you very much to you and to all of your team. The President of the Republic, of the French Republic, Emmanuel Macron, made a statement yesterday in Bratislava, and it's always a series of incidents that can lead to a crisis, but in this particular case, there is a very significant responsibility for the government of Kosovo in the latest development and in the incidents.
Da, ali da li će sada i Pariz primeniti neke mere protiv vlade, odnosno protiv Albina Kurtija, kao što to, recimo, najavljuju Amerikanci?
We believe in positive solutions. What we expect from the government of Kosovo is to take the measures to de-escalate the situation. We actually expect also from Serbia to take all necessary measures to avoid violence, to avoid tension, and also to de-escalate. As everybody knows, the situation we're in is the result of the resignation of the mayors, and not just the mayors, by the way, in November. We thought at that time that it was regrettable because it was depriving the Serbian community from elected representatives. After that, there were elections, and there was a significant non-participation, or very, very high non-participation. We thought it's also regrettable. Now mayors have been elected, but clearly because of the situation, they cannot act as if they had been normally elected. So there are a couple of steps to be taken to avoid unnecessary measures, to avoid taking decisions that go beyond just a transitional period. And we're expecting all actors, the government of Kosovo, the mayors, and for what they are concerned, also Serbia, to take all measures necessary for de-escalate the situation.
Da, ali veći deo međunarodne zajednice zapravo, uključujući i Francusku, odnosno vašeg predsjednika, kao što ste rekli, govore da je vlada Kosova odgovorna na neki način što su te tenzije počele i što je došlo zapravo na neki način do svega ovoga. Da li je Evropska unija, odnosno ponovo vas pitam i vaša zemlja, razmišljaju o nekakvim sankcijama? Nešto u medijima se pojavljivalo da neke zemlje Evropske unije razmišljaju o povlačenju podrške za viznu liberalizaciju Kosova. Može li doći do nekakvih promjena u tom smislu, kad je podrška Kosovu u pitanju?
I think the government of Kosovo is fully aware of what's our understanding of the causes of the current situation. It's been said by the President of the Republic. We told that also in private conversations with the authorities. There will be consequences, as we've said, when it comes to the Ohrid agreement, if it is not implemented, and surely the current situation is also very problematic. But at this stage, really, we call on all actors, and especially the government of Kosovo, to take the measures that are necessary, and they know what we think about those measures, to de-escalate, and we ask from them to take the full measures that are responsible with a view to reduce the tensions.
Da, a koje su zapravo to mere, odnosno šta savjetujete kao rješenje za tu najnoviju eskalaciju krize na severu? Mi znamo šta su zahtjevi Srba tamo, to je povlačenje specijalnih jedinica policije kosovske iz tih opštinskih zgrada, kao i to da gradonačelnici ne idu u te opštinske zgrade, posebno ne u Leposaviću, Zubinom Potoku i Zvečanu. Da li to zapravo treba da uradi vlada Kosova?
We have condemned the attempt to enter by force in the municipal buildings. We made that clear when it happened, and we have not changed our positions on that. So no, we don't think that the mayors should enter by force in those buildings, and if they cannot enter by force, then they should continue their work from other premises in order to avoid an unnecessary flashpoint, an unnecessary source of tension. Mm-hmm. We said that very clearly, and I think the government of Kosovo knows very well what we expect from them.
Mm-hmm. Ali očekujete da i policija tamo napusti te prostorije i to? Kako očekujete rasplet te krize zapravo?
There was a very significant amount of violence that was done against the KFOR, who was there to protect everybody, and that is absolutely unacceptable. And on the day, it was 30 or more soldiers of the KFOR that were injured. There were also civilians injured. There were also policemen injured. There were journalists injured. So first, I think we have to not forget that. And I would like to say that my thoughts are with all victims, whoever they are. It is very important that those responsible or prone to violence are kept away from this vicinity. And when it comes to the police, I think they should coordinate with KFOR, with a view, and with ULEX, with a view to avoid tensions as much as possible.
Da, i da li sad u ovoj situaciji još uvijek važi dogovor Prištine i Beograda o normalizaciji odnosa na osnovu francusko-nemačkog plana i Ohridskog sporazuma o implementaciji?
Thank you for this question. It's exactly the key question. There are short-term measures to be taken. We've just discussed that. But indeed, they make sense also in the background of a sustainable solution and what you call the French-German initiative, which is also a European initiative, which is been materialized into this agreement in Ohrid, it is absolutely still valid, and this is the way to be pursued. So here again, I think we would call on all parties, Kosovo, Serbia, to resume the talks, to resume the work. There are commitments to be respected, and when it comes to the government of Kosovo, there is a very clear commitment when it comes to making progress on the establishment of the association of Serbian majority municipality. So we're expecting them to work concretely on that.
Da, ispostavilo se zapravo da je to osnivanje asocijacije, odnosno zajednice opština sa srpskom većinom, nekako najveći problem, iako je to bilo odavno i dogovoreno i potvrđeno. S druge strane, kao najveći argument te zajednice, premijer Kosova iznosi mišljenje da bi to moglo da bude neka vrsta Republike Srpske na Kosovu. Šta zapravo fali Republici Srpskoj? I kako zapravo zvanični Pariz gleda na asocijaciju i razloge te za njeno osnivanje?
First, I will refrain from making any comparison with other situations. Every situation is very specific, and trying to compare most of the time is leading to misunderstanding. So, what we think is that this association, as you rightly say, it's been a commitment for quite a number of years. It's been repeated. We think that this association should be formalized in a way that keeps Kosovo's functionality. I mean, we don't want Kosovo to be a dysfunctional state, of course not, because we see the future of Kosovo within the European Union, and therefore we want a functional Kosovo. Mm-hmm. Now, the best way for the government of Kosovo to avoid something that they would find dysfunctional is to make a...
Da, a da li je zapravo ovaj plan francusko-nemački, odnosno evropski, označio na neki način novi način rada i neki novi mandat Evropske unije u tom dijalogu? S obzirom da znamo da briselski dijalog između Prištine i Beograda na razne načine se vodi više od 10 godina uz posredovanje Evropske unije i da je ta primarna ideja bila da Beograd i Priština se ohrabre, da se sami dogovore, ali su rezultati prilično mršavi, da tako kažem, iako su sporazumi bili potvrđeni i ovde u parlamentu i zapravo dogovoreni.
You're right that there were periods of hope and periods of disappointment. I think it is for responsible leaders to choose the path of hope rather than to choose the path of resignation in a way. So there are very clear commitments within this Ohrid agreement. The Ohrid agreement has not been suppressed or because of the latest incidents. It is still there. The commitments are still there. There are commitments both from Serbia and from Kosovo towards the EU. And there are benefits for both Serbia and Kosovo. And even more so, there are benefits for the population, the Serbian community in Kosovo, because a part of the commitments that were done would make daily life easier. The issue of car plates, the issue of documents, crossing the borders, studying here and there, having your diplomas recognized, all this would be made much easier by the normalization that the Ohrid agreement can lead to. So it's not just about the state-to-state relation. What is even more important is making the life of normal citizens easier, and that's therefore again, we urge all parties to abide by their commitments.
Da, jasno. Kažete da bi srpska zajednica imala neke benefite iz svega toga. Međutim, s druge strane, već 10 godina postoji sporazum koji se ne sprovodi, pre svega mislim na zajednicu srpskih opština. U ovih 10 godina je oko 30 i 40 hiljada Srba manje na Kosovu, tako se procenjuje po nekim istraživanjima. Ili postoje neki rokovi zapravo do kada šta treba biti urađeno i u okviru ovog plana i kad zapravo vi očekujete da će konkretno zajednica srpskih opština, na primjer, biti osnovana? Su to u pitanju nedelje, meseci ili godine i dalje?
I perfectly understand the impatience, not just of you, but of everybody who is involved with these issues, and even more the normal people whose daily life is made uselessly more complicated because of the lack of normal relations. So I fully understand why people are getting impatient. I think at this stage we expect rapidly from the government of Kosovo to first take the measures that are necessary to calm down the situation. It's for them to take measures, not just for them, but for them. And secondly, and there is a link, we to resume the discussion on the association and come up with their own proposal, so that the discussion gets more concrete. And everybody is aware of the fear that the association might turn Kosovo into a dysfunctional state. That it is absolutely not what we want. On the contrary, as I said, we see the future of Kosovo and of the Western Balkans within the EU, and therefore we want functional future member states. That's for Kosovo to make now a concrete proposal, I believe.
Dobro. Evo, pre nego što odemo do naših građana da vidimo šta oni kažu o francusko-nemačkom planu, pomenuli ste ponovo da vlada Kosova treba da preduzme mere kako bi se smirila situacija na Kosovu. Možete još jednom konkretno, koje su recimo 3 stvari koje bi vlada trebalo hitno da uradi povodom situacije na severu?
Oh, that's what we've been discussing. The whole situation has become very tense because of the attempt to get the mayors into the municipal buildings by force. So these attempts should
znamo šta je bio uzrok.
That's the, yes. And
kako
therefore
rešiti?
suppress the cause, make sure that the mayors find other ways to do their work, and keep in mind that that they cannot work as if the situation was normal. The situation is very specific.
Dobro, sada idemo do naših građana, da vidimo šta misle o francusko-nemačkom planu o normalizaciji odnosa Beograda i Prištine. Dakle, idemo na ulice Prištine, Gračanice i Severne Mitrovice. Samo da napomenem da smo ovu anketu radili zapravo pre ovih incidenata na severu Kosova, dakle, prošle nedelje, pa da vidimo šta kažu.
Isto kao i što su svi ostali sporazumi bili do sada, kao što je briselski, propalo. Znači, od tog sporazuma na kraju neće da bude ništa, to će da se udogovlači i na kraju će sve to da propadne, onda će da se smisli neki novi razgovori, neki novi pregovori.
Šta mislite o francusko-nemačkom planu o normalizaciji odnosa Kosova i Srbije?
Ovo pitanje, evo već skoro 30 godina ovdje nam došlo. To ne zavisi od nas, to zavisi od, da ne kažem, od više sila. Sada ovaj rat u Ukrajini sve je pobrkao stvari. Kad bi pitao narod, ovo bi se rešio preko noći.
Konkretno ne znam pojedinosti u planu, ali plan bi trebao da se da budu odnosi dobri, zašto mislim, u svakom pogledu, ali samo u jednom ne oko priznanja toga, tu se ne slažemo već oko drugih stvari, ekonomije, kretanje ljudi, robe, materijala, promet i to s time se slažemo.
Pa mislim da je to trebalo odmah posle rata da se završi to jednom za uvek i da ne ostane 20 i kusur godina da se ne rešavaju ova pitanja. Bilo bi bolje za sve.
To je katastrofa za Srbiju i za srpski narod na Kosovu. To je priznanje nezavisnog Kosova. Ne priznavanje potpisima, nego usmeno je, što je rekao Aleksandar Vučić, to Amerika priznaje. I to je završeno sa Kosovom i sa našim Srbima na Kosovu.
Pa šta da vam kažem, tu sam u velikoj dilemi. Mislim da Kosovo treba da ostane pod okriljem Srbije i da tu mora biti stavljena tačka. Makoliko želim normalizaciju odnosa Srbije sa Zapadom, ali Kosovo je Kosovo.
Nadam se da bude bolje za sve ljude. Naravno da nemam poverenja ni u predsjednika Srbije, ni u premijera Kosova.
Pa ne znam šta da kažem. Politika je čudo. Ništa drugo.
Šta mislite o francusko-nemačkom planu normalizacije odnosa Kosova i Srbije?
Pa Francuska i ova druga neka gledaju u svojoj kući da rešavaju probleme, neka ostave pitanje Kosova, jer Kosovo je sastavni deo Srbije i ostaće tako.
Šta mislite o francusko-nemačkom planu normalizacije odnosa Kosova i Srbije?
A šta mislimo mi kao Albanci? Pa vidite, jedan od tih planova do sada su doneseli više tih broja planova. Nijedan nije bio, tako reći, normalan ili obrazovan, pozitivan, nije bilo. Ovaj plan, mi mislimo, u suštini baza je za početak bi se razgovora je jaka, je dobra, je čvrsta. U tom bazu treba da se diskutuje.
Pa trebalo bi da je nešto dobro. U svakom slučaju da bude bolje nego što je sada.
Šta mislite o francusko-nemačkom planu normalizacije odnosa Kosova i Srbije?
Ništa. Nema šta da mislim. Nemačka i Francuska hoće Kosovo, Albanija i doviđenja, nema šta da razgovaram.
Šta mislite o francusko-nemačkom planu normalizacije odnosa Kosova i Srbije?
Jedini izlaz za Kosovo i Srbiju.
Dobro, Vaša ekscelencija, evo vidjeli smo i čuli šta kažu naši građani. Neki nisu baš optimisti, ne očekuju mnogo od tog plana. Neki očekuju, jedan građanin posljednji reče da je to jedini izlaz i za Kosovo i Srbiju. Šta kažete ovo što smo čuli od građana?
Well, I hear a lot of frustration, and I can understand that, obviously. As I said, people tend to forget too often that when we're discussing, it's not just state to state, it impacts very directly the life of normal citizens, those who are making the society, those who are working hard, and it's too easy to forget them. I was very interested to see all these interviews, a lot of frustration. It is our joint responsibility, diplomats, leaders, to respond to that and to make sure that we're moving forward. I have a lot of sympathy for people being impatient, for people being losing hope. But precisely those who have some ability to influence the situation should use it.
Da, dobro, kad smo već kod ljudi, mislite li da imate pouzdane informacije o tome kako, na primjer, živi srpska zajednica na Kosovu i severno i južno od reke Ibar?
That's a good question also. Difficult to know whether I have the right amount of information. I'm spending as much time as possible in the four northern municipalities. Actually, when I compare the time I spend in the north compared with other cities in Kosovo, it's much more proportionately to the population, I'd say. And I would like also to thank you again, you and other independent Serbian journalists who are doing a very good job in order to help us better understand from inside what are the feelings, what's the reality of the Serbian community of Serbs living either south of Ibar or in the 4 northern municipalities. Am I going to be ever really fully informed and able to fully understand? No, probably not. But I'm doing all what I can, meeting journalists, meeting normal people, meeting politicians, meeting the church.
Kad spomenuste novinari i medije, zapravo nezavisni mediji na srpskom jeziku, slobodno mogu da kažem, su pušteni na neki način niz vodu, bez te finansijske podrške kroz projekte, netransparentnih javnih poziva i nemogućnosti zapravo finansiranja od oglašavanja, kao da se na neki način šalje poruka da nezavisni mediji na srpskom nisu ni potrebni zapravo na Kosovu. Koliko su po vama važni mediji u periodu tranzicije jednog društva koje je navodno na evropskom putu?
Free media are absolutely important, and since it is a reality of modern Kosovo that there are 2 languages spoken, it is very important to also have free and independent media in Serbian language. Absolutely. We were supporting last year for a 3 years program between 20 and 22 a series of actions in order to support journalists and also to have actions towards the public in terms of what we call information literacy, because the difference between now and when before internet basically is that there is an access to a wide range of information and to information and to fake information.
Koje medije, šta ste konkretno podržali kad su mediji u pitanju? Rekao ste, nisam najbolje razumeo.
Yes, we have had already between 2020 until 2022 a program with a colleague of yours, well known, Tatjana Lazarevic, who helped us in terms of training of young journalists, but also the public. There were programs in school, the point being to increase what is usually called information literacy, basically how to read, how to see through internet sites, how to try and make the difference between an objective and credible information and fake news. And clearly this region here, not just here, but here too, is under a flow of fake news, Russian-based or Russian-friendly. And that's very problematic because it can have an impact on how people see the reality and assess the reality.
Da, pitao sam vas malo pre, imate li te pouzdane informacije? Rekli ste da obilazite sve sredine, više ste puta i možda, ako sam vas dobro razumeo, bili na severu Kosova. Na osnovu činjenica baziranih na tim pouzdanim informacijama...
Proportionately.
Da, na osnovu činjenica baziranih na tim pouzdanim informacijama kojima raspoložite, koje su po vama 2 najveća problema Srba na Kosovu?
Difficult to pick only 2. No, I shouldn't laugh about that, actually. There is what I sense, a growing language barrier. Interestingly, there was an Albanian person interviewed in those small interviews, but what I am told by many people is that the language barrier is growing, that the younger generations, the Serbian community, and reciprocally, the younger generations in the Albanian community are not able to understand each other's language. And not sure that English always can be helpful here. I mean, eventually people should rather, when they live in a country, try to learn the language of the others. That's an issue, again, it's not proper to Kosovo. There are in Europe and elsewhere in the world, but in Europe, different countries where several languages are spoken, and we see that it's not always easy in one community to learn the language of the others, but still it is necessary, and it is even more necessary because of the recent past of Kosovo and the necessity to overcome these wounds.
A drugi problem, ne rekao ste?
That's exactly one issue. I think there is a lack of economic integration of the community, the Serbian community, with the rest of Kosovo, for various reasons that I'm not sure I have, in the 7 months I've spent here, that I fully can understand them, but I rarely see Serbian employees. I would not say that there are not, but there could be probably more. So the lack of economic integration. The economy of Kosovo is growing. The economy of Kosovo has some difficulties, they have their problems, but it's growing, and I think that the Serbian community could benefit probably a bit more of this growth. I see also an issue of politicization and security. Whenever I'm talking with people, very often the issue of security comes up. I think it is a reality. I think it is also a perception, in the sense that maybe not all of the incidents are politically motivated or ethnically motivated, but they might be felt as such. So what I hear is a certain feeling of insecurity, and that is indeed problematic.
Da, ali je zapravo i činjenica da je realnost na Kosovu, odnosno da je situacija na severu i jugu Kosova, južno od Ibra, nije ista. Bar i kad su Srbi u pitanju. Vrlo često postavljam ovo pitanje svojim sagovornicima, nikako zapravo da dobijem jasan odgovor. Evo, možda sa vama budemo imali više sreće. Koliko zapravo ta integracija Srba južno od Ibra može da bude atraktivna, odnosno da posluži kao atraktivna ponuda za Srbe na severu, da se i oni tako integrišu u kosovsko društvo?
Well, I'm going to be very cautious here because I've been here in this country for 7 months only, and I think compared to people who live here and have a lifespan of experience, my experience is a bit superficial. I have the feeling that first and foremost there is less tension, there is a better feeling of security. I've been here, as I said, in 7 months. In 7 months I've experienced 2 political crises, tensions, but they were in the north and not in south of Ibar, so I think that makes a big difference for people living in those areas. So trying to indeed replicate the situation south of Ibar to the north would make the everyday life of normal citizens much easier. I think issues like car plates are less complicated. I hear that the issues of documents are less complicated as well. Not saying that everything is perfect, but yes, it's certainly showing the path towards normal and eased relations between the communities.
Dobro, pitaću vas sad nešto gde vaše iskustvo nije površno, kako kažete, mislim, sigurno. Šta kažu zapravo francuska iskustva? Šta balkanski narodi mogu da nauče od Francuske? I vaša zemlja je u istoriji ratovala i sa Nemcima i sa Englezima, a danas, rekao bih, predstavlja primer kako se živi zajedno i sarađuje.
Yes, and to people listening to us who might not be fully aware of the history of my country, basically we've been at war with all our neighbors, and themselves they've been at war with each other also. So it's not just Western Balkan that has been a troubled area, and we had, as I said, war with everybody, and civil wars as well. So the question is whether some recipes are replicable. If this is your question, what can we learn? I think it takes several things. It takes leaders that are ready to show the path towards reconciliation, which is less easy than showing the path towards continuation of confrontation.
Neko bi sad rekao da mi nemamo lidere ovdje. Ili oni nisu dobri.
I'm saying that because I believe in politics. I believe one of the person you interviewed was very skeptical about politics, and I fully understand that because of lack of tangible results. But I do believe in politics. I do believe that nothing is inevitable. I think that we collectively have our fate in our hands, and through elections it's up to us to choose the leaders who are promising a difficult path of reconciliation rather than the easy path of continuation of hostility. And then it takes also for...
A to nisu Kurti i Vučić, očigledno, jel?
And I'm now going to continue without answering this question, obviously. It takes also, and that's more difficult for everybody to realize that there are victims and perpetrators on all sides. And it's not just one side who are the victims and one side and the other side being the perpetrators. That's not easy for anyone, of course, because everybody in their family, they have their stories, they have their missing persons, they have their dead persons on both sides. They have lost property, they have lost friends, they have lost relatives. Not easy to forget, obviously. But my message is, my country went through that as well. And when reconciliation with Germany happened, the memories were very fresh. So why would it be possible for France and not for this region? There is no reason why it would not be possible. I believe nothing is inevitable.
Pa da, ali kako da iz tog stanja nenormalizacije pređemo u sferu normalizacije? Šta je konkretno potrebno još da uradimo? Eto, bar dva savjeta ako nemate neki čarobni štapić. Rekli ste da moramo da imamo odgovorne lidere koji su spremni i na neka teška rješenja. Pomenuli ste i pitanje nestalih zapravo osoba. Je li to što je hitno?
That's one issue where progress was made very recently, and it is important. It helps heal the wounds. France is contributing regularly 100,000 euros to the ICRC, specifically on this issue of the missing persons, and we hope that there will be renewed progress, because that was agreed to in the last meeting of the heads of states and government. I think it's an overall effort. Right now we have a tool in hand to try and make progress, and this tool is the Ohrid Agreement. So let's keep on working with it. Let's make it develop. Let's make it be respected and implemented, and I'm convinced that it will help.
U nastavku, ko je ambasador Francuske na Kosovu, Olivije Geroom? Ambasador Francuske na Kosovu Olivije Geroom rođen je u Parizu. Završio je političke nauke u Nemačkoj. Ima bogato iskustvo u oblasti međunarodne diplomatije, Ujedinjenih nacija, bezbednosnih pitanja i ljudskih prava. Na sajtu Francuske ambasade piše da će mu to iskustvo biti od neprocenjive vrednosti u pomaganju da podrži posredničke napore Evropske unije u cilju podsticanja dijaloga između Kosova i Srbije i zaključivanja sporazuma, što je od suštinskog značaja na putu njihove integracije u Evropsku uniju. Pod njegovim rukovodstvom se, kako se navodi u njegovoj biografiji, ambasada nastaviti saradnju sa vlastima Kosova kao i svim kosovskim civilnim društvom. Vaša ekscelencijo, kako vam se dopada ovde na Kosovu? Rekli ste da ste 7-8 meseci ovde tek.
Yes, 7 months, yes.
Sad, zadnjih dana ili par meseci je malo zanimljivo. Nije do duše uvek tako, ali kakav vam je glavni utisak?
Every day is very interesting.
Nije dosadno, to je sigurno.
Every day. I enjoy every day of it. I enjoy every day of it. I would say I enjoy the days with crisis less than the others because it's not a game, it's for real. I again, all my thoughts with the victims of the violences and also all the people who are psychologically impacted by that. But a part of that, fortunately, it's not been only crisis, and I enjoy every day of my being in Kosovo. I find it quite nice that it's a small country because it allows me to drive my car here and back, there and back. I've been, as I said, quite often in the north. I've been also to basically all major cities. And I'm struck by the diversity of the landscapes in such a small place. You go from one plain to hills, from hills to very high mountains, and back into plains. It's very enjoyable. I enjoy also the warmth and the hospitality of the people as much as I can experience it. I must say I regret that I speak neither Albanian nor Serbian good enough to be able to communicate with people. I obviously speak French, I speak German too, and thanks to the rich diaspora or the numerous diaspora, both Serbs and Albanians, I happened to be able to communicate several times in German directly with people. So it's not just an interesting posting, it's a very rich and fascinating posting.
Da, pomenu ste ovu dijasporu Kosova i kad su Srbi zapravo i kad su Albanci u pitanju. U Francuskoj je ona mnogobrojna i prilično, čini mi se, uticajna. Međutim, čini mi se da, bar ono što možemo i da vidimo i u pojedinim medijima, ali i iz priča sa prijateljima, tamo dobro sarađuju Srbi i Albanci. Mislim, nema loših vesti. Kako to da Srbin i Albanac u Parizu ili Beču, Berlinu mogu da budu i kolege i prijatelji, a kod kuće ovde u Prištini i Mitrovici nekako teško?
Well, I hear that also here neighbors, colleagues, whenever they're working together in the same company, that there is no problem, that one of the difficulties is politicization, as I said. Everything is politicized, or a lot of it is politicized. As I told you, I believe in politics as a tool to make people's life better. Politicization is, on the contrary, something where every single aspect of the life, of your life, is given some kind of interpretation, and that's psychologically, I think, difficult for people in their daily life. So maybe what you're telling is that those persons living abroad are sort of escaping this constant politicization, and I think media like you help certainly also people take some distance.
A hoće li 1. januara građani sa kosovskim pasošem, koji će konačno moći da bez vize putuju u takozvanoj Schengen zoni, da li će i oni pobeći od te, kako kažete, politizacije, odnosno da li će zbog toga doći do masovnog odlaska mladih sa Kosova koji su, kako pokazuju neka istraživanja, odnosno sva istraživanja, veoma nezadovoljni uslovima svog života. I to ne samo zbog nezaposlenosti i para, nego i zbog drugih stvari, upravo možda i političkih, kako vi pomenuste, zbog kojih ljudi ponekad napuštaju svoje domove.
The purpose of visa liberalization is to make it easier for people to travel. So we expect people to travel, obviously. So that's not going to be a surprise. There will be a significant number of people who are eventually going to use this possibility to more easily travel to the EU. One thing just I have to recall, we're talking about short-term visits to the EU. What is possible with this visa liberalization is to enter and stay into the EU for periods of 90 days within a 180 days period. So basically 3 months in periods of 6 months. It's not meant for staying longer. For staying longer, then you will need a working visa or a student visa. And I just want to take this opportunity to encourage all students, Serb students, Albanians, if they listen, to check on the possibility to do part of their studies abroad using the Erasmus Plus scheme. I would like to advertise for French universities and French institutions of higher education, which are very performing. There are programs through Erasmus Plus. So a message to all students, a message to all parents. Check with your respective university what kind of programs they have and make use of them, because it's a life changer. You said I finished my studies in Germany. That was through a similar scheme. My children have studied abroad. It's a life changer. It's an eye opener for everybody. There is this Erasmus Plus scheme. Make the best use of it as possible.
Dobro. Dobro, pre nego što ponovo odemo do naših građana, imamo samo još par pitanja. Šta Francuska zapravo radi na poboljšanju uslova života građana na Kosovu? Mislim i na ekonomiju, a posebno demokratiju i vladavinu prava kao tom preduslovu za ne znam, razvoj i strane investicije. Kako pomaže srpsku zajednicu na Kosovu? Možete da nas upoznate sa nekim od možda najuspešnijih projekata koje ste pomogli ili radili, ako ste zapravo radili?
Well, I briefly mentioned this small program for journalists 2 or 3 years ago, in the last 3 years, sorry. What we're doing is we're helping the government of, not the government of Kosovo, of course the government, but the administration, the public service of Kosovo to improve in quality and in efficiency with various ministries, the Ministry of Public Service. We're also working with the Ministry of Interior. We're working with the Ministry of Culture, with education. So trying to help the administration of Kosovo to be better prepared with a view to eventually entering the EU. Being a member of the European Union is an opportunity, but it's also a lot of work. And then you have to be prepared for that. So we're helping them, as I said, in these various administrations. We are also having some economic prospects or programs. We've been working for a while on a wastewater treatment plant that would help make the water cleaner in the region around Pristina, including Račanica. It's a very big program. So at this stage, we're still working on it together with the government of Kosovo. So there is no breaking news. I cannot give you any scoop here and now. It's done. But what I can tell you is we're working very concretely on it.
Da, ali naši političari su naučeni da kažu da uvek može više i bolje, posebno to govore u predizbornim kampanjama. Može li vaša podrška da bude takva, odnosno šta nedostaje? Fondovi ili ideje?
Well, you know, cooperation is not a one-way street. So you're perfectly right. We do discuss with the governments, with the NGOs, and I must say there are good ideas. But we have this expression in French. I'm going to say 4 words in French. L'appétit vient en mangeant. Appetite comes while eating. So the more you cooperate, the more ideas you have. And when you have good ideas, then you will eventually find the funds. So this cooperation I was talking about in order to eventually get the water cleaner around Pristina, including Gračanica, I'm already seeing that the people who are working on that have developed other plans with the government of Kosovo on another issue, just because they're used to work with each other. We're doing things, for instance, with a region in the northern part of France, and here again I see how the actions are helping each other. There is an excellent cooperation, for instance, with DocuFest, which is this very interesting festival in Prizren, a great city, beautiful city, Prizren. And even within the 7 months I've been here, I saw how their relations with an equivalent in northern France has developed and grown. So what is it we need to do more and to do better? Maybe time. Time is of the essence.
Dobro. Kad već pričamo odnosno govorili smo o idejama, našim gledalcima smo dali priliku da nešto poruče ili postave pitanje francuskom predsjedniku Emmanuelu Macronu, pa ako budete u prilici da mu prenesete, idemo na ulice Prištine, Gračanice i Severne Mitrovice ponovo da vidimo šta bi ga pitali ili poručili.
Pa da se ponašaju onako kako bi se ponašali da se sve ovo dešava u njihovoj zemlji. Da se stave 5 minuta u našoj koži. Da mi kao u Srbiji još uvek posle toliko godina od završetka sukoba nemamo pravo na slobodu kretanja, nemamo pravo na slobodu upotrebe svog maternjeg jezika. Znači puno osnovnih ljudskih prava je nama na Kosovu ugroženo.
A šta biste pitali ili poručili francuskom predsjedniku Macronu kada bi imali priliku?
Pošto on nije mi ni predsjednik ni ništa, mislim ovako šta bi... Ako pitate u vezi ovog plana, znaš, pitao bi ga što ga ne sprovede, mislim ovako, evo već ovo se odugovlači toliko da stvarno i narod ne zna, mislim ovako, kad će ovo da se reši.
Šta da on poruči, neka gleda svoje posla, pusti narod neka živi.
Pa pitao bi ga da li bi on prihvatio da se deo neke njegove teritorije tamo odvoji i da mi priznamo taj deo, da li bi se ljutio to, pošto on Francuska priznala Kosovo, to bi ga pitao drugo ništa.
Da li to što razmišljaju bude stvarno? Samo da bude stvarno.
Macron je za mene potpuno negativna ličnost. Ja s njim apsolutno ne bih ni ulazila u bilo kakve diskusije.
Šta je mi ovdje? Poručio bih mu da prvo sredi Francusku. U Francuskoj ima mnogo nezadovoljstva zbog raznih situacija i da on sredi situaciju u Francuskoj i da pomaže što više i Kosovo i Srbiji da rešavaju svoje pitanje.
Poručio bi da se pozabavi svojim problemima u svoju državu. On veće probleme ima u svoju državu nego Srbija što ima na Kosovo. Svako dan demonstracije su tamo oko penzionskog fonda, sad se znam druge probleme. Teži su problemi u Francusku nego nama Srbima na Kosovu.
Najveće prijateljstvo nekih u vreme Prvog svjetskog rata, pa i Drugog svjetskog rata, bila je Francuska. Šta je napravila iznenađenje? Pa je okrenula ovako se protiv jedne male države Srbije, da tako dopustila sebi da kao člana NATO, pa da njena protivvazdušna odbrana avijacija kreće i napada jednu renomiranu zemlju državu Srbije. Mislim da su bili odnosi dobri, jeste su, ajde da kažem, fantastični, ali su poremećeni, tako građani nisu krivi, ali to prijateljstvo je izgubljeno dosta.
Kom predsjedniku?
Francuskom predsjedniku Macronu.
Mi smo rekli njemu da prvo on treba da sredi stanje u svom državu sa svojim narodom, jer i tamo nije mu baš dobro, tamo je veliki haos.
A šta biste pitali ili poručili francuskom predsjedniku Macronu kada bi imali priliku?
Da on gleda svoje prilike tamo, da se ne meša u naše stvari.
Dobro, Vaša ekscelencija, evo i na kraju da prokomentarišemo ovu anketu. Čuli ste šta kažu naši građani, šta bi poručili ili pitali, malo je pitanja bilo za francuskog predsjednika, ali šta kažete na ovo? Jedan građanin reče da je teže u Francuskoj nego Srbima na Kosovu ovdje, da i tamo postoje mnogi problemi. Jedan građanin također reče da bi Francuska, odnosno predsjednik Macron, trebalo da više pomogne Srbiji i Kosovu u prevazilaženju ovih problema ovdje. Šta kažete na ovo?
Well, first again, I hear a lot of, some frustration, and I really understand that. Secondly, I hear many people saying, well, mind your own business. And to that I would say, we're not here preaching, we're not here lecturing people. We're perfectly aware that not everything is fine in our own country. Basically, there is not a single country on the earth where things are perfect and do not need to be fixed. So yes, there are problems in France, but it's not a reason to let other countries without help. Finally, we're talking about the integration of this region within the EU, within the European Union. We are one of the 6 countries who created the European Union, and now our destiny is very, very tightly linked to the European Union. We are a sovereign state. People decide and vote for a French president, a French parliament. But we're also a member of the European Union, and we want this union to get more and more integrated. And we want the European also to enlarge and the Western Balkans become eventually a part of it. And therefore, it is in our interest that the problems here are solved, that the countries are functional, because we see them as part of the EU, and the EU is very dear to us. Those who are outside of the EU know maybe even more than those who are inside.
Pa kakva je perspektiva, evropska perspektiva Kosova i zemalja zapravo ovog regiona, Zapadnog Balkana, kad ćemo u Evropsku uniju?
The how, the when, it's been an issue that has been discussed for a long time, and now with the war in Ukraine, we see that we have to look at the whole enlargement into with maybe new eyes. I mean, traditionally, you have the people who think the EU should get larger and larger with as many member states as possible, and you have other countries, and my country, who think that the integration should get deeper and deeper, and there's been some kind of artificial opposition about that. Now we have to do both. At the same time, we have to make progress towards enlargement. I cannot answer with a specific date your question. I know many of your listeners would like me to do so, but that would be just not credible. But the political will is there, and we might have to also find various formats within the European Union so that the countries who want to go even further would do that, and others would be in a different format. At this stage, it's a proposal by President Macron, and he has spoken about that just as recently as yesterday, with a clear message. The time to change the dynamic is now.
Vaša ekscelencijo, ambasadore Gero, hvala što ste bili gost emisije Slobodno Srpski.
Thank you very much.
Gledali ste i slušali Slobodno Srpski. Budite sa nama i sljedeće nedelje na vašoj omiljenoj televiziji. Slobodno Srpski ili kako god želite, pišite na e-mail adresu slobodnosrpski@gmail.com ili pošaljite pismo na Medija centar Čaglavica za emisiju Slobodno Srpski. Prijetno!